Charles Omenihu, 49ers defensive end, was arrested yesterday afternoon on suspicion of misdemeanor domestic violence. If you don't know the story, real quick, his girlfriend alleges that he pushed her to the ground in an argument. Police didn't see injuries. She didn't want medical attention. He gave a statement. They arrested him, served him with a, what do they call those things?
Restraining order.
Restraining order. He posted bail, and that's all the information we have at this time. Dad, what are your thoughts on this situation?
Okay. I want to say, first of all, this is very delicate to talk about because you could offend people on all sides. So,
and we don't know that much.
So I have to admit I'm a little nervous to talk about this, honestly, but we got to talk about it. So I want to say, first of all, what are the 49ers' options? If nothing is resolved, i.e., if the district attorney does not charge him or does not say they're not charging him, if it drags out up until the game, I don't think he should play. I don't think he should play. They should make him inactive for the game. However, if they want to pay him or whatever, that's not my issue. But if this is not resolved, he should not play. If the district attorney decides there's not a lot there and decides not to press charges, then I suppose he could play. Or if the district attorney says we're going ahead and pressing charges, no way he plays. So, Iggy, I think that's the key issue. Do you look at it the way I do?
I do. I mean, I know Jim Harbaugh would have wanted Omenihu to play. Al Davis would have wanted Omenihu to play. But this is supposed to be a different type of organization. They haven't had this issue. And I think a big thing with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan coming here was them telling Jed, we're gonna win with class again. We're going to take these things seriously. And I'm not saying that they should assume that Omenihu did something wrong, but out of respect to the seriousness of the situation, playing him would be saying that you think he didn't do anything wrong, and you don't know. So I think just out of respect for the seriousness of the situation, you think, football's important, but not as important as this. We can't play him until we find out more.
Yeah, and I agree. Part of their trademark, Kyle and John, has been a very clean organization. And
yes,
and especially in the Bay Area, especially about domestic violence issues, you can't be casual about this. I'm not condemning Omenihu because I don't know enough about it. I'm being cautious and saying this guy should not play until there's some sort of resolution. So I think we agree on that.
Right,
okay?
And we're not saying suspend him without pay. We're saying just don't play him, continue to pay him. But Kyle and John's attitude with this for years has been zero tolerance. So if he is charged, well, it seems like if he gets charged and convicted, he'll be a free agent by then. He probably won't be back on the team. They don't need to cut him or anything like that. But if they have a zero tolerance with this stuff, you can't put a guy back on the field before they know that he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. Also, my guess is he will not be on the team next season.
That's my guess.
Yeah, it's my guess. I don't know. Okay, I'd like to move on to. There are ancillary issues about this.
Yes.
So I think we covered that.
Yes.
So I'd like to move on. This has implications for the organization coming up to the Philly game. And here's what I mean. Here is Kyle Shanahan preparing for the most serious game of the season, the most important game, against the best opponent that he's faced by far.
Yes.
And what he needs is to have full attention on beating Philadelphia, which is not going to be easy to do.
No.
So all of a sudden, thrown into this, he's got Charles Omenihu arrested.
Right.
Now, in a way, Kyle is lucky because on Tuesdays there's no media availability. Mm-hmm. But tomorrow there is, and he speaks in the auditorium, right? Okay. So he's going to want to talk about Philly. They've got a great defense and a great...
well-coached, fly around.
All that stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be able to at first because there are real journalists in that room, and they're going to want to know what's going to happen, what happened, what do they know with Omenihu, and what are they going to do about it. So let me just finish this.
You said real journalists, not just sports journalists. There's going to be guys like news journalists locally and nationally there for this. Sorry.
You're right. I'm glad that you clarified that.
It's going to be a lot of guys there for a different thing, not for the game.
Good point. Like, for example, the newspapers will send down their crime reporter.
Uh-huh.
right?
And they're going to have a question, and Kyle has to answer it. He can't be like, "Sorry, I'm here for the game." Can't do that.
No, because it's all being videoed. He can't. No, it would if he were to say, "I only want to talk about the game."
Can't do that.
And it's possible if he were.
won't.
It is so weak. It is so weak, Iggy. Right?
And it makes you seem like you're minimizing the seriousness of the situation because Kyle doesn't know what happened. Kyle has no idea what happened, so he can't say that.
Okay, so what I want to say, the implications for Kyle are that he wants to concentrate on Philly, and now he's got this is a distraction. Now he's got to worry about what's going to happen, and how do I handle the media on Wednesday?
Yeah.
He needs that like a hole in the head.
He and the PR director have to spend 10, 15, 20 minutes anticipating questions, going over answers that they're going to give. I mean, and spend more effort on that than, the questions about Philly.
Yeah, and in addition, there's going to be an open locker room tomorrow.
Correct.
Players, they're going to not get questions about Jalen Hurts. They're going to get questions about Charles Omenihu. So it filters down to the locker room. Yeah. They're trying to prepare for the most serious game of the year, and now they got this. That's not good. That's a distraction. This is how teams lose.
Right. Yeah.
When you're preparing, you don't want all of a sudden a crash in the middle of the road. This is how teams lose because the difference between Philadelphia and the Niners is so minimal.
Right.
These are two such excellent teams. Something like this can screw it up.
Oh, and the Niners are already underdogs.
Yes.
Omenihu's good. He's a good player. I don't know if they need him, but he makes them better. This isn't good news. They could freaking use this. Is not good news for the 49ers in a football sense.
So this thing that happened permeates the whole preparation and permeates down to the locker room. Because believe me, people are going to be asking the players, what about Charles Omenihu? What do you think? Yep. And it's going to piss off the players, but there's no choice. They're going to have to deal with it.
And you're thinking, the Niners, to win this game, to go to Philly and beat that team, they're going to have to be on it. They're going to have to play their best and be as locked in as they've been all season. Well, what do they look like now? Philly isn't having this issue. They seem locked in, at least from this side of the country. They look that way. Now, they're looking at the Niners like, ooh, boy, they got to deal with this. So that's too bad. We don't.
Or that's too bad for them.
That's too bad for them. Yeah, exactly what I meant. Yeah, tough break.
Yeah. Too bad for them. And Iggy, I'd like to make one other point. We always say that we're not fans, and by God, we are not fans. Probably a lot of fans feel very bad and say, well, Omenihu's a good guy. Here's the deal. I don't know Omenihu. You don't know him very well. Fans don't know him at all. So what I want to remind everybody watching this is, I understand that you make these athletes your heroes. I understand how it works. But we know nothing about these people. Even the nice ones we know nothing about. We know only how they present themselves publicly and or to the media. But how they really are, i.e. Omenihu, we don't know a thing about him. He may be a wonderful person, and this may all be made up. Or he may be a real jerk. And the point is, you can worship these people and make them heroes, but understand it's a fantasy. We really know nothing about these people.
And I wonder how much the Niners knew about Omenihu before they brought him here. They didn't draft him. It feels like, with the exception of Reuben Foster, the Niners have done a very good job of vetting the players that they draft. And Reuben Foster, I can understand how they missed on that. He was such a charming young man. What he did behind closed doors, I guess, really surprised them. But anyway, Charles Omenihu, they traded for him last year. He hasn't been here that long. I don't know how well they know him, and I don't know. He may have done nothing wrong. And this all could be made up. But I just wonder how well they vetted him. I don't know him that well.
Yeah. So this incident raises all kind of questions about their preparation, about vetting of the player, and reminds us once again, you don't know these people. I mean, you really don't know these people. And my rule is, in my life, I feel I don't know you unless I've gone to your house or you've gone to mine and we've had dinner. I call it the threshold rule.
Right.
Unless you've crossed the threshold and spent time, you don't know anybody.
Right. And so what we're saying is we don't know enough about Omenihu to say that we got a feeling he didn't do anything wrong. Or we got a feeling he'd be the kind of guy who would do this. We don't have a feeling. We have no idea. And the Niners probably don't either. No one really knows. The DA will have a decision. The Niners probably should respect it and wait. Yeah. Probably. What do you think? Do you think they will? Do you think Omenihu will play this weekend if the DA hasn't made a decision?
Oh, that's a great question. No. I believe that John Lynch has integrity.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. John Lynch, and I think John Lynch will not allow him to play. If it's still up in the air, and
if it's up
in the air, and they let him play, I think it would be a scandal.
I think it would too.